This is the Portland Real Estate Podcast, your number one place for anything you need to know about the Portland real estate market, along with in-depth interviews from our local real estate industry experts. Now, without further ado, here are our hosts, Tucker Merrihew from TTM Development Company and Steve Nassar from Premier Property Group. Having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. What's up, everybody out there in listener land? This is episode 97 of the Portland Real Estate Podcast. And if you're listening this week, well, we've got about 98, 99, 100-degree temperatures. So hopefully you guys are staying cool. Hey, I wanted to record a quick show this week. I don't have my sidekick and better half, Mr. Steve Nassar. He's not with me this week, but he'll be back next week with a full-length show. I wanted to record a quick solo show this week, and I wanted to let all of our listeners know kind of what our services are that we can provide you as realtors here in the Portland metro area. So our last show was all about Open Door and Zillow and what it is that their instant offer programs, basically what do they offer home sellers, right? And we kind of went through the pluses and minuses of what it is that they're doing, whether or not we think they're going to last, and just kind of pulled back the curtain on what that's all about and kind of what our thoughts are as well. Well, in this week's show, I wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of what it is exactly that we do here at TTM Development Company in hopes that more of us can potentially work together as we move forward into 2019 and beyond. So for many of you guys, you might be familiar with what it is that we do exactly, but we're kind of a hybrid company in the sense that, you know, some people just build new construction and some people just renovate existing houses. There's very few companies that do both, and there's even fewer companies that do both well. Fortunately, I like to consider ourselves in that category of doing both very well. But what we do is we buy homes that need to be renovated, from light renovations to complete gut jobs to foundations to additions, all kinds of things. And then on the other side of the coin, we also do land development and we do new construction. So we kind of cover a wide spectrum, we'll say. And so what I wanted to ask from you guys is that if you have any sellers that you run across that maybe wouldn't be the best fit for the retail market for some type of existing construction, or maybe it would be a good fit for some form of a tear-down redevelopment type play, I encourage you guys to reach out to us. So I want to go through real quick what it is exactly that we buy, kind of what our wheelhouse is, and where we can fit best into your business. Now, the first thing, obviously, is going to be fixer-type houses, right? Homes that maybe aren't best suited for the retail market. I'm sure many of you guys have been on listing appointments or talked to sellers where you go in the house and you go, oh, my God. Steve's mentioned many that he's been on, where you look at it and you just say, there's no way that a retail buyer is going to buy this house because it's got a variety of issues. Maybe it's a hoarder house or a quasi-hoarder house, right? You got boxes of crap from floor to ceiling. Maybe some of it's, decent stuff, but it just fills up the house, and maybe some of it's just garbage, right? I'm sure some of you guys have been in houses like that. Those are houses that we buy. We can see past the clutter. We just see the opportunity that the house represents in terms of the finished product and not what's right in front of us. Maybe you run into a house that has a lot of mold, right? There's some water issues, leaks, and then that creates mold. Well, mold scares the hell out of retail buyers, that's for sure, but not us when we're gutting the house. So if you got a house that has mold, maybe it's a combination of mold and dry rot. You got a lot of rot because of maybe carpenter ants, or that in a combination of termites and water, whatever it might be, right? A lot of rot in subfloor, generally in bathrooms, right? People don't take care of their bathtubs for years and years and years, or they have a leaking toilet and it rots out the entire floor. Or maybe they've had a roof leak, right? And it's rotted, all of the underside of the sheathing on the roof, and you've got a lot of mold up there in the attic, something like that. Maybe you've got foundation issues, right? Maybe the house is slanted. Maybe you've got some settling that's occurred with the foundation. We've done a lot of houses where we've had to replace sections of the foundation. Back in the early days, we almost had a couple fall over on us, but we're a lot better now, and we know what we're looking at. But we'll buy houses that have foundation issues as well. And then, of course, you've got your classic smoke smell, right? People that have decided to smoke in their house for years and years on end. We've had many houses that we bought over the years where we literally had to gut the entire house, and we even had to spray the interior framing of the home once it was exposed with kills just to kind of seal in that smoke smell. That's how bad the smoke smell was in the house itself. So anytime you walk into a house that has a really bad smoke smell, you know that's not going to a retail buyer, because the house needs to be gutted, more than likely, at least get the drywall out of there and all the surfaces in order to get rid of that smell. But that's right up our alley. And then, of course, you have your just generally outdated and kind of deferred maintenance type house. Anything like that maybe just isn't quite retail ready, right? It's just a little bit too much of a departure for a retail or end buyer to buy it. It's just too big of a project for most people. They just don't want to take on kind of all of that brain damage and just work that it takes in order to arrange contractors, have cash for the budget to get it done, and just go through all the stress and management of that entire process. So that's what we look for on the fixer side. In terms of benefits beyond that we offer to both you guys and potential sellers is that number one is sellers don't have to do any repairs of any kind, right? That should go without saying, but we basically take it as is, where is, how is. And we also allow sellers to leave whatever it is they want. So if you've got a hoarder house situation, you've got somebody that's got a lot of crap in the house and literally it needs like 4 or 5 40-yard dumpsters in order to get it cleared out, or they just have stuff that they just don't know what to do with and they really don't want it, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. That's why we have our guys to clear out the house. We give what we can to the Goodwill and whoever will take it. And then, of course, we have to dumpster the rest and just get it out of the house. But more importantly, we'll take care of that for your sellers and for you, so it's not something that they have to worry about. And then, of course, we also allow the seller to pick the date of closing. So that really helps in situations where maybe the seller needs money in advance in order to close on their next purchase or whatever it might be. Sometimes we allow a rent back period or some type of situation where we can close and then it gives them the cash that they need in order to make their next purchase and stay competitive in a marketplace where contingent offers are difficult. And so we'll obviously allow the seller to pick their closing date. We'll pay with cash. We can then talk to the listing agent on the other side and say, look, we're a cash deal. It's a for sure thing. And then that allows you, if you're representing them on another transaction, to make sure that you have an ironclad deal and they can be competitive when they write an offer elsewhere. So that works out sometimes for cases like that. Other times, people just are taking the cash and they're doing something else with it and it doesn't matter. But that's really where our wheelhouse is in terms of buying fixers, and then, of course, what we offer to the seller itself. Now, with you guys, as realtors out there in listener land, of course, we always offer the opportunity to, if you want to represent both sides of the transaction, you're more than welcome to do that. We come in unrepresented. If that's not something you're comfortable with, we also offer list back potential, so we can always talk about that if you bring us the deal. And, of course, that applies as well on any sort of teardown type product. So any product where maybe it's an older 2-bedroom, 1-bath house or smaller house that maybe the value's in the land, right? Or it's a bigger lot that needs to be partitioned. The house is old, it's small, the neighborhood has improved dramatically, prices have gone up quite a bit, and it just makes more sense to buy the property for lot value or lots, plural, and go through the partition or tear down the existing house and build a new house or houses in its place. So that's something that we do often as well. And most of the stuff that we build is in, obviously, the Portland area. We're condensed more so in Lake Oswego. We've got a big project going in Dunthorpe right now as well, but we've built all over Portland. So if you have anything that looks like that, please feel free to give us a call and contact us. The difference between us and maybe Zillow or Open Doors, number one, you can call us and you can get paid and we can work a deal together and potentially a list back. But number two is we buy stuff that is not just paint and carpet renovation. A lot of those programs, they want to be able to turn those houses over quickly, and they don't have the capabilities to do larger amounts of work because it's just not within their business model. Fortunately for you, we do everything from paint and carpet all the way to major renovations, additions, and whatever in between. And so if you've got a house that fits anywhere in that spectrum, feel free to give us a call, or you can go to our website. Those would be the two best ways to contact us. If you go to ttmdevelopmentcompany.com, you can go to the Contact Us tab, just put in the information, and we'll make sure to give you a call and chat with you about the project. We don't ever circumvent anybody. We don't ever go behind anybody's back. It's a small town. If we did anything like that, well, we'll say it's a small, big city. But if we did anything like that, word would get around really quickly. So we really take care of our business relationships, and we take care of those people that bring us opportunities. So make sure you put your information in that Contact Us tab, submit it, and I can give you a call personally, or Chris, your office manager, can give you a call, and we can talk more about it. Or if you want to, you can call us directly here at the office, which is 503-224-6200. Feel free to call us with anything that you have, and we'd love to chat with you about it, and hopefully we can all make more money, and we can, of course, sell these properties that you come across much quicker and much easier for both you, I, and the seller. All right, guys, this is episode 97. Enjoy your hot week of summer as we kick off summer here in June, and myself and my co-host, Mr. Steve Nassar, will be back next week with a full episode. We'll see you guys then. Thanks again for listening to our show, and make sure to tune in next week for another great episode of the Portland Real Estate Podcast.